Angela Yee, I've known her for a while.
Yep.
And I feel like her show makes a reasonable amount of noise.
Mm-hmm. In the beginning stages, it's early
service.
still, too, yeah.
And she's got some good guests on there.
To make that transition out of the Breakfast Club, which I say is like the greatest hip-hop morning show to me that was built, her to make that segue to build her own show.
Yeah.
It's still in the early stages, but I think it's been impactful enough that she still warrants being on that list at this point. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Big Boy at number 16, I feel is low on this list because he's got a lot of big interviews.
You know who's dope? I met a woman on his staff that's like the social media. I feel like she's done a great job of like clipping up his stuff and like really putting it into the ecosystem. Like, you know, he's kind of presented himself kind of in a new, fresh way. Obviously, with the momentum of Kendrick's situation, obviously on the West Coast, I think he's definitely stepped to the forefront. So my respect for him continues to grow. And yeah, I think Big Boy definitely earns his spot on this list.
Well, I think he should be higher on the list.
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
people that are listed over him, which when you look at how big some of these interviews, I mean, he's gotten Kanye and stuff like that somewhat recently. You know, YG and a lot of people, I mean, 50 Cent comes to his show. So it's like, I just think it's a little bit low. I think almost,
he has access to certain artists that other people can't talk to.
I mean, he was at the Kendrick pop-up show, the pop-out show, on stage with Kendrick.
Probably got the best shot to get a Kendrick interview if anybody can get one.
Exactly. So I think he's a little bit low on the list.
Yep, I agree.
Angie Martinez.
Big Angie. Started a podcast, very impactful numbers with the podcast.
Big numbers?
Yeah. I think solid at least, no? Laura London, like that was big. Certain interviews
that was a while ago.
Podcast. Was
Was
that not in the past year? It's really from the last time they did that. So it could be a little bit of last year and also this year, honestly. Like doing the research.
I mean, the Laura London interview was 2 years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah. I don't know. Angie's been doing it for a while. She interviewed Pac back in the day.
I like though, again, I'm one of the most recent interviews, but I feel like she's been pretty consistent with the podcast. And a lot of radio hosts haven't been able to make that transition of making a podcast. So I think she's done a good job in that realm that warrants that change. That she's not just relying on that. And she still gets like if the Lotto comes to town, like the young female MCs or that type of person, like they still want that Angie Martinez interview if they're in New York City. Like I think she kind of holds that spot still, even above the station that she left, which is High 97. Yeah. I think she still has that slot where it's like, if you're doing a New York run, you still want to have the Angie sit down. I think she still maintained that.
Right, she's on Power 105, right?
Yeah, she's on Power 105. Yeah. But I'm saying, I don't know if Hot has a person where they feel like they have to go to have that thing. I feel like you still want that Angie cosign, especially if you're a young female artist in the game.
Fair enough.
On the R&B side or hip-hop.
Yeah, I mean, Angela Yee sort of is in that role as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Number 14, Bootleg Kev.
Kev finally on the list. Definitely deserves to be there.
I think so, too.
Absolutely. Consistent work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do his show at one point. I remember he brought up, because I remember early on in his career, he reached out to me to do an interview, and I was like, Kev, I'll be honest with you, your numbers aren't there yet for me to do the interview yet. But let's keep talking. And I remember he's like, oh yeah, Vlad turned me down last month. And I'm like, no, it was like 2 years ago. I've got the text messages. Like, you're welcome to tell the story, but don't.
So now he's Vlad TV worthy, man.
Yeah, but don't put a little extra sauce on it. It was way early on when you had like, maybe a few thousand subscribers or whatever else. But I'm like, let's keep in touch.
He probably used it as motivation.
And I told him I'll do a show this year. Like, let's just figure out a time and so forth. And, I've always told him congrats on what he's pulled off. He's got a lot of really good guests and so forth.
It's hard for white guys to get along in hip-hop.
I know, right? No, we do get along, though. No, we do get along. No, it's not that, because there is that. You're right. You got the white-on-white crime in hip-hop.
White-on-white crime is...
You get that.
Woo.
You get that. You get that. Well, which brings me to the next one, Rory and Mal. Which I get that from him. He's always been a hater with me. And
which one?
Rory. Mal,
Rory, that's my guy. You want me to squash that? I'll squash that.
You can squash it. We can have a conversation.
That might also be an extension of your Joe Budden beef.
Well, that's where it started. Him and Joe, I understand why Joe talks shit about me, right? My history with Joe goes back, 12 years, the whole ransom situation. Everyone knows about that. I understand why Joe has problems with me.
Yep.
And, me and Joe have fired back and forth.
And Joe in recent times has given you he acknowledges your growth and impact in the space.
Oh, yeah.
And is giving you that respect. Again, you can respect somebody or not respect some parts of what they do And you don't have to be friends, right? It's fine. Like it's like
Exactly.
It's acknowledgement, like what you did with Keefy D and all that type of stuff. No one can deny your impact on culture and the work you put in. So yeah, I think you and Rory could get to a place where you could have a great conversation.
I have no problems with him, but he would always talk shit about me when he was on Joe Budden's podcast.
Of course.
But he doesn't know me. We've never met. He's just riding with his boss. And his boss fires him. And where does that leave you? You left with those old beefs. Like, it's a little silly. It's a little silly.
But how people, but even now, Vlad, you have to acknowledge, I don't know, your place should probably be higher on the list. How people view you right now is not how they maybe viewed you a year ago or 2 years ago. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So, because of the work you've done. So, again, you can't expect everybody to connect to a certain thing. It's like, and you also had to break a certain stigma of Vlad TV is just trying to get to the dirt. And
it's the police.
He's going for that shit. Yeah. Police is the feds. Like, break these stereotypes or these sort of labels on yourself. So, you're in a different space. I think he's in a different space. I think it could be a great conversation.
I've never had a problem with damn near anyone who's had beef with me. I'm always open to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
You know, because I remember even Joe Budden, because I remember when Joe went over the list, so someone sent this to me, and he mentioned my name. He's like, oh, no, Vlad, you know, I mean, we had our differences, but you know, I respect his business acumen and, you know, what he's put in and so forth. You know, because I remember even at one point, Academics said that Joe wants to do an interview on Academics' platform with me and him, with Academics kind of being there.
That's probably the best
way. And I
way.
said, I'm open to that, but me and Joe have to have a conversation first. We're not just going to sit there after years of problems and just try to hash it out in real time.
Phone call first.
No, we can have a phone call. We can check each other's temperature. And if it feels like we're cool, I can go do that on Academics' platform. But I'm not just going to sit there with someone who I really have a problem with.
Yeah.
You know, and listen, me and Elliott Chopper was talking shit about each other a lot. And then we got on the phone, we talked, and then we did an interview.
Yeah.
Me and Tariq Nasheed.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do the phone call first.
You got to do the phone call first.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do the phone call, then we're not going to do the interview.
I agree.
That's that. But I think that if me and Joe actually did that interview, everyone would tune in to watch.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
I think it's inevitable.
Yeah. But with Rory, if you want to set up the call, I'm totally open for it. Them being 13 on the list, I think is a little bit high, though.
Well, they got a lot of heat off the Drake-Kendrick thing because Mal took such a strong pro-Drake stance in the beef. And they had some inside information about the records that were coming, and so they was kind of involved with it because of Mal's association with OVO. So I think that's what elevated them, because obviously the Drake-Kendrick conflict was the biggest story. So I think that up there, like the up there impact on the situation. So I think that's what warranted it there. Maybe you may say too high, but I definitely think they belong on the list.
I'm not saying they don't belong on there. I do think that when you look at like Adam 22, Jason Lee, Big Boy, the fact, you know, that they're over all these guys, I think is a little bit unfair.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. Number 12, Lil Yachty and Mitch. This is a bit of a head scratcher to me.
It's a head scratcher. Why?
You think that they deserve to be 12 on this list?
Well, I think that people like the idea of a young artist embracing this space and being dedicated to it. You know, I think that's what it is. I think Yachty is very beloved, even though at times he goes all over the place. And, you know, I said he's recently frustrated me with all his antics, how he doesn't stay consistent. But no, I think it's just embracing like a young artist saying, hey, I want to build this media platform. I think they like the dynamic of him and his man, who we don't know who this guy is, but he's like, you go into his weird bedroom type thing. He got J. Cole on the platform. That was big. So
J. Cole was on the show?
Cole went to the show.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a big deal. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Number 11, N.O.R.E.
N.O.R.E.
Yes, we both
got hair now, Vlad.
What's that?
N.O.R.E. got hair now, man.
I know, right?
N.O.R.E. got hair, baby.
We've both done a show in the past year.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to say that that's probably my favorite interview that I've done on someone else's platform.
Wow. Drink Champs?
Drink Champs. Yeah, 3 hours of just talking shit. You know, drinking.
N.O.R.E. has a gift to make, besides the liquor or whatever you may drink or whatever, like, N.O.R.E. does a great job of making you feel comfortable to kind of show your real self and just, like, let it out. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for that. That's why the show works.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And because me and him, it's kind of funny because when he was first launching his show, maybe about a year into it, he had reached out to me and he was like, yo, I want you to do my show. I said, no problem. Because, anyone who does my show, I'll do their show automatically.
Trading features.
Trading features. Exactly. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And I said, sure, I'll do it.
You don't charge me, I don't charge you.
Exactly.
Boom, boom, boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you ever want me to do your show, you know what it is.
Absolutely.
And I remember he hit me, and I was like, cool, I'll do it. I'm just not going to drink. And he was like, what do you mean you're not going to drink? Everybody drinks. I'm like, yeah, I just don't want to get drunk on camera. And then this turned into a, do you know who I am? Both ways. He's like, you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? And it just started to escalate. Neither person wanted to back down.
That's hilarious.
And we stopped talking for like 3 years. And we were actually friends up to that point. And then I remember maybe about a year and a half ago, I reached out to him and I said, yo, bro, congratulations on your success. If you ever want to talk, let me know. He's like, yo, thank you. It took about a year for us to get on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
We got on the phone, we chopped it up. And I said, listen, next time in Miami, if you still want me on your show, I'll come do it. He goes, absolutely. I went to Miami, did the show.
And that's where you had the best interview, you said.
And I absolutely I just love the way I was presented and what I talked about. And, and it became one of the most viewed Drink Champs episodes of that time. It did like 1.5 million views or something like that.
I'm watching that shit tonight. I missed that one.
Yeah, no, it was a big deal. And I thought it came out well.
Yeah. Shout out N.O.R.E.
N.O.R.E.
should be a little higher?
I think N.O.R.E. should be higher.
A little higher, right?
I think so. Because he gets important interviews with important people, and I think the format,
right?
And it's consistent. The whole, it checks off all the boxes. I just feel it's a little bit too low on the list.
And shout out EFN. I feel like he never gets enough credit.
Exactly.
As co-host.
Yeah. Well, they work well together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 10, Nardwuar.
All right, now we get top 10. Let's go.
Top 10. Number 10 is Nardwuar.
Woo.
A very unique. Nardwuar deserves to be where he is because he's a very unique entity, and he gets some very big interviews that are very. And the research, I think Nardwar's research is above all of us.
Mm-hmm.
He'll pull out some things that the guests will be like, "Yo, how'd you know that?"
Yeah,
people call me the police.
Friend. And getting some intel.
He'll find like their third grade school teacher and find the drawing they did that was put on the wall. Like, the stuff he has
still works. And in the persona, it's like disarming.
Yeah,
like
it is.
How do you know this? He's telling you the thing. It's like, how the fuck you know this? It's just like it never like gets stale. It's always like a fresh reveal. Like every time.
No. Nardwar's dope.
Yeah.
Gillie Wallo.
Yeah. I mean, that was worth a game.
Yeah, last I checked, Gillie doesn't like me over old incident. Over an old incidident. You know what it was? I never
Shout out to a game of one-on-one. You ready to play Vlad? You can play ball?
A little bit. I think what happened was maybe like 10, 11 years ago, it was around the time of my 40th birthday. He had done something with Will Smith, and he told me he's going to get me like all the footage. And then he kept sort of like kind of putting me off whenever I asked him for it. But he told me he would do it. And then I think that kind of created a little bit of a bad energy between us.
Okay.
So then when he got on, I was like, hey, by the way, if you ever want me on your show or if you want blah, blah, and I heard he's still mad over that.
Okay.
So that's why we've never done anything together. But my thing is like, who cares? Like this is some old 10-year-old shit. We've both done well since then. There's no reason why we can't rock with each other.
Yeah, I think
and to me, it's always a little weird when people hold on to these decade-old grudges over nothing. There was no altercation. There was no bad words. No one lost any money.
Yeah.
It's just people's egos.
Absolutely.
So Gillie, when you hear this,
that's another phone call.
It's all love.
There's a phone call that's needed there.
Yeah, let's have a conversation. We don't have to work together, but there, But I've heard him badmouth me to other people, and it's just like it's a little weird when I heard it. But saying that, I do think Gilly and Wallo should be on this list, and I think their number actually is a bit low. I think they should be higher than 9.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people say Drink Champs and
Drink Champs and Gillie Wallo, I think should be higher on.
Maybe they haven't had the star level guests that maybe we're used to them getting.
Yeah,
but does that mean that they belong in those slots? That's probably the big debate. People are saying.
Number 8, Anthony Fantano for a needle drop. I know Anthony,
which is different because you're kind of pulling out of. Is it hip hop personalities? Media? How do they say it? Media personalities?
It's the media power ranking.
But is hip hop part of it or no?
Yeah.
In the title, right?
Let me just double check.
So it's Anthony hip hop though. That's the thing. He comments on hip hop things.
Hip hop media power ranking.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't agree with that. I don't consider him hip hop media per se.
He does
that fair to say?
He does album reviews.
Yeah, and he covers hip hop sometimes, but he covers all the genres.
He does.
So what makes him hip hop media?
Well, but to be fair, I cover a lot of genres also. I'm doing
I know,
gangsters.
but you're rooted.
I'm rooted in hip hop.
I'm listening
Yeah.
to the Rap Phenomenon mixtape. You're
Exactly.
Vlad TV.
Yeah,
You made
yeah.
mixtapes. I know your story.
Yeah, I mean,
it's debatable. Is what I'm trying to say.
It's debatable
Maybe
because
it's an asterisk.
and it's
I
also,
definitely would have him lower. I'd have him lower.
Yeah, well, because he strictly does album reviews.
Yes, nothing outside. Of
That doesn't. I mean, it is hip hop media because obviously, you know,
his
Double XL had
his
album
reviews on
and-
hip hop matter, right? What he says about
Yeah.
hip hop matters, but if he's doing all the genres and there's nothing outside of what he does there, and if it's a hip hop media list, then he's too high.
I agree.
He should be on it maybe, but he's not.
Yeah.
But he's too high.
A little bit lower, I think.
Yeah.
You know, Anthony, me and you were cool, man.
Oh, he's doing great work. No one
you
will
know,
beef. Yo, Anthony, I don't
just
want that,
keeping
my
it.
G.
I got to keep it honest.
Yo,
I got to
Anthony,
keep it honest.
Anthony, I want no problems, my G.
Right.
But I'm just
pull
saying.
up on you. There might be a
Anthony,
gangster
don't
side
pull
of
up on
Anthony.
me,
we
Anthony.
know
Don't
about.
pull up
Yeah.
on me, baby. I'm a civilian. Don't touch me, my G. I'm good.
Number 7, Ebro.
Shout out Ibrahim.
I feel like he's too high on this list.
Wow.
I feel like,
hating on the old man Ebro.
I mean, me and Ebro know each other. We've had
He
meetings.
still
we've had
commandeers the Hot
conversations.
97 Morning Show. He's got the Apple gig, you know. He's
But
outside.
I feel like he doesn't move the needle.
Okay.
When was the last time that Ebro really had an interview or something that really impacted something? You know, I don't want to give people these slots just because they happen to be at a
Okay.
big radio
So you
station.
think he earns a slot, but maybe not a top 10 slot?
No.
Not a slot at all, you saying?
No, so somewhere in the top 25.
Yeah, but not
Maybe
top 10.
around 15
but
or
not
something.
top 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
right around there with Sway and, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Angie Martinez and, you know, the OGs that have been doing it for a while and
I
so
don't know-
forth. But
I don't
not,
even know if
not
Vlad's
top
go-
10.
I don't even know if Vlad's going to put me there yet. We're not there yet.
Well, and you know,
bated breath. Let's do it.
I got a little bit of a kick over being one slot higher than Ebro. Because I'm
Right?
number 6.
See, it matters who you're close to, right? That's the problem
Yeah,
Charlemagne has.
exactly.
You matters who you're close to.
Matters who you're close
Who's
to.
your little bunker, your little friend?